When I was a kid, my parents would sometimes bring me down to my aunt and uncle's place to stay for the weekend. Mainly I spent time playing with my two cousins, who were around the same age as me. They lived on a small farm with plenty of open space, and we could run around pretty much doing whatever we wanted. If we thought we could get away with it, the three of us would sometimes cross over to the neighboring farm about a half-mile away. It had been abandoned for decades, with scattering of derelict buildings and other sculptures still standing on the property, just begging to be explored. This way, of course, a goal of mine for three adventurous young boys such as yourself, especially after my cousin told me stories about this place, how it was haunted. It was a pretty classic fare. Man goes crazy, axe murders his whole family, hangs himself, returns every night as an angry spirit, looking for new victims. Good, grisly stuff. Even at my age, I thought they were probably making it up, or at least embellishing old rumors. But seeing as how the setting lent itself so to such tales, I allowed myself to buy into it. One afternoon, we decided to play hide and go seek, and when it was my turn to hide, I ran off into a flimsy brown barn that had living quarters on the top, and climbed the stairs looking for a good spot. There was still furniture inside, musty and rotting, and personal belongings laid scattered across the floor, and maneuvered over broken dishes, tattered clothes, and crumbling books, eventually coming to a small bedroom with a closet. Jackpot. There was even a long black dress still hanging on the rod that I hid behind. I stepped inside and managed to force the folding door closed. My only illumination was a slit of sunlight that shone through the crack in the door from a nearby window. I crouched down with my knees tucked into my chest and waited. Some time passed. There was still no sign of my seekers. I waited some more, debating if I should give myself up. After nearly an hour, this was starting to get boring. My head drooped. I awoke with a jerk. It was pitch black. Drowsy and confused, I forgot a minute where I was and what I'd been doing. As it slowly came back to me, the realization that it was now night, and I had been abandoned here. Filled with me was a sinking dread in the pit of my stomach. I tried to get up, but a sudden cramp in my calf kept me grounded. I squirmed around, waiting for it to pass. When I heard a door slam shut downstairs, I instantly froze. One of my cousins? There was a brief period of silence. Then footsteps at the bottom of the steps. But not just footsteps. A thud, too, after every other step. These weren't the footfalls of a child. They were slow, heavy, deliberate. I held my breath, praying that he would go away. They did not. The noise continued to ascend. Step, step, thud. Step, step, thud. They reached the top of the staircase. Another moment of silence. The walking resumed, this time along the steady scraping sound, like something heavy was being dragged across the floorboards. The footsteps made their way through the debris. They wandered aimlessly through various rooms. I thought I could smell something faintly putrid. The constant scrape sent cold shivers coursing down my arms and back. My worst fears were realized when the steps reached the bedroom doorway. They got closer and closer, and finally stopped directly in front of the closet door. I couldn't see a thing. After an agonizing pause, they continued on, over to the other side of the room, and out the doorway again. They faded away down the hallway. Scrape. I waited for what seemed like an eternity. There was no more sound now, and I was trying to build up enough courage to open the door fully. Three things happened simultaneously. Just then, I was bombarded with a smell that I can only describe as fresh roadkill. I heard respiratory breathing behind me in the dark closet. I felt a hot breathing against the nape of my neck. Step, 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 step. It was clumsy, tortuous escape, full of trips and bumps and blind stumbling. I never looked back, at least not until I heard it burst out the front door and right into the country night. And when I turned around, I saw absolutely nothing. There was no footsteps, and nobody was chasing me. That didn't stop me from running, though, all the way back to my aunt and uncle's house. There was a police car in the driveway. When I got back, my parents were there too, worried sick. But everybody demanded to know where I'd been. Apparently, when my cousins still hadn't found me, by evening, they returned home to tell their parents. Eventually, the police were called in and informed me they had already scoured every building on the farm. This insinuation that was lying about my whereabouts didn't go unnoticed. None of it made any sense. It wasn't until years later that one of my cousins filled in the final piece of the story. He and his brother had spent hours searching for me, like they said, but the part they didn't tell anyone, that they thought they spotted me in the window of a bedroom I was hiding in. When they got closer at me, they saw it wasn't me. A young boy, neither of them recognized, was smiling and waving down at them and gestured for them to come upstairs. That's when they ran back home. All this while I slept in a closet.